This question comes from Cindy. How do you transition from being a full-time contractor to a full-time employee? And she goes on to say that I've been an event contractor for the past 8 years and been having a hard time finding a full-time job with a company. I have a feeling they're not taking me seriously because I have been contracting for so long. How can I communicate that I'm ready to commit to one sole company and gain their trust? Okay, so there's a variety of things that you can do here. That said, I would say that the very easiest thing that you can do is target those companies that actually want and will benefit from having a full-time employee. So that there may be some of the organizations that you're working with right now, maybe it makes sense for them to have a contractor as opposed to an employee. But that's something that you're not necessarily going to know from them unless you ask and unless you have a conversation where you are taken seriously. So there's a variety of ways that you can have that conversation, but let me just give you one example for how that sounds. Whoever is your point of contact, or maybe more accurately, whoever makes the decisions there, that also is your point of contact. See if you can meet with those people. In fact, I would encourage you to initiate a conversation that is scheduled in advance and is signaling to them that something important is going to happen and be discussed there. So here's how that might sound. You might send them an email that says, hey, I have something that is pretty important that I want to talk to you about, and I'd like to schedule time for us to chat where we're not going to have distractions. And then request however much time that you think that that's going to take. In fact, I would encourage you to at least schedule 30 minutes for it. And what we're doing there is we are signaling to them that this is a different conversation than the ones that we normally might have. That in itself is going to cause them to take it more seriously than other types of interactions or casual interactions. So they might assume the worst, they might not. Either way, you're telling them blatantly that this is something that's important that we need to make space for. And then when you go and have that conversation, first of all, I would take the time to pen out bullet points or write yourself out a script or notes and take that in advance to ensure that you hit all of the points that you want. That said, I think the conversation sounds like this. I wanted to share with you that in the future, at some point, it's my goal to transition to being a full-time employee with an organization. And so I wanted to have an open, honest conversation about, if that's something that you're looking for in the future, whether it's immediately or whether it's down the road. I'd like to understand what has driven you to have, a contractor versus a full-time employee, and would it be beneficial at any point in the future? And I also wanted to, like I said, be transparent that at some point, doesn't mean tomorrow, doesn't mean anything like that. I'm not making a rash decision here, but I wanted to let you know that it's one of my goals to transition that direction in the future. Here's why that's important to me. So I wanted to figure out if that's something that could be a benefit to both of us. And I also wanted to make sure that in the long term, I'm setting you up for success. So again, don't worry, I'm not leaving tomorrow or anything like that. This is thinking way out for me, and I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so that type of conversation, first of all, think about what we're doing. We're being very direct with them. We are alleviating potential concerns that could come from having that conversation. We are inviting them as a partner to explore it together. The real issue is that it's hard to ask for what you want if you're not very clear about what you want, and if you are not asking in a way that's helpful to them. So we're trying to make this a helpful conversation for them as well. And then at the same time, when we ask for what we want in a helpful way, we're more likely to get what we want, or maybe find out that it's not going to be a possibility. Or maybe we might find out that, the main reason that they had done that was they thought that you wanted to be a contractor, or that there's something else there that is going to make it not a possibility. And then you can stop wasting time in that particular situation and then focus your efforts on another organization that could provide that for you. But you need to get very clear on what is going to be helpful to you. By the way, if you want help with these are the types of conversations that we help people plan for. Usually it's a series of conversations, not necessarily a one and done. So just just know that going into it. This might not be a single conversation and then magic happens. It might be a series of conversations spread over time to allow this type of change to be negotiated and to have them take you seriously, and where you're owning the process to make it easier on them. And again, if you want help with that, just reach out. We'll connect you with the right member of our team, and we can assist with the planning of all of those conversations to make that happen, or help you make a transition to an organization that will take that seriously. Thanks for asking, Sam.